What's up, you guys? Teddy Striker here, and I just watched Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano, the first MVP MMA card on Netflix, and this was actually a pretty solid event. Like, there was a lot of fun matchups and a lot of one-sided fights going into it, but it was very fun to watch as there was not a single decision in the main card. Like, there's not even a fight that won the third round. Like, all the fights got finished either in the first round or by TKO, doctor stoppage. But it was very fun. Like, Ronda Rousey took out Gina Carano in 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Like, that's what Ronda Rousey does. Like, I thought it'd definitely go a little bit longer, but after all, Gina Carano hasn't fought in 17 years, which is a crazy time off, and Ronda did her thing. She shot a takedown. Like, she didn't go for the judo throw. She got a double leg, got into mount, and right away she went for the submission and got it. So fair play to her, and apparently this is her retirement fight. She said how she doesn't want to fight. She's gonna have kids and expand her family, and good for her. Like, at least you get to walk out of the game on a win. Her last fight was terrible. She did no media. She didn't promote the fight at all. She got knocked out, and then she went complete ghost. It was weird. And then she came back years later and made a whole bunch of excuses, like calling everybody out. And even now in the build-up, like she saw some crazy things, but it was pretty funny in my opinion.
I'm not chasing greatness, motherfucker. I am greatness. These bitches are chasing me.
But yeah, good for Ronda on her win. And then we had Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry, and I thought Nate Diaz was gonna win. Like, he was tagging Mike Perry up a little bit, but Mike Perry was landing some big shots on Nate. Nate was taking some crazy shots to the body, and that really seemed to hurt Nate quite a bit in this fight. It seemed to slow him down, and of course he was bleeding in this fight, and he was bleeding a lot. Like, you could see blood on the back of his head, like on his back, like it was dripping down. It was just a bad visual, and obviously when you have like a big cut like that, they're going to take a look at you and potentially stop it, and that's exactly what they did. And Nate talked about how he wants to rematch Mike Perry in MMA, and I don't really know if I want to see that. I don't know if I want to see Nate fight again, to be honest, but it's Nate Diaz, right? He's going to do what Nate Diaz does, and he talked about rematching Jake Paul as well, and I definitely don't want to see that. But I would like to see Mike Perry go back to bare knuckle, though, like knock out some dudes there. Like, he's very entertaining, and he's the face of that company, but him coming back and doing some MMA fights could be fun as well. Like, this was a big opportunity. And yeah, he even talked about how he wants to fight Jake Paul in MMA, and Jake Paul said he would beat him. And yeah, that could also be interesting. But yeah, the future is bright for Mike Perry. He's got multiple options right now. And then we had Francis Ngannou knocking out Felipe Lins in the first round, and this went as expected. Like, early on, Felipe Lins tried to grapple. He felt the power of Ngannou, and I don't blame the guy. Like, it was a ticking time bomb. Like, we all knew he was going to get clipped at some point in that round. So he got reversed on the ground, and I thought Ngannou would stop him with ground and pound, but Felipe Lins was able to work his way back up to his feet, and I believe he did land something significant. He landed like a big right hand at one point on Ngannou, but Ngannou took it like it was nothing, and he just kept marching forward. And eventually Felipe Lins, fair play, like, the guy tried to fight back. Like, he wasn't just gonna get bullied. He tried to fight back, but when he did, he got clipped with a clean left hook right on the tempo, and he put him out. Like, there was no need for any follow-up shots, and Herb Dean wanted to see a follow-up shot, but Ngannou was just waiting for Herb Dean to stop it, and thankfully he did for Felipe Lins. And yeah, that's it. Like, Ngannou, again, he has a real claim of being the best heavyweight on the planet right now. He has a winner of Cyril Gane, who could potentially beat Alex Pereira, and he was beating Tom Aspinall. So if he beats Pereira, then there's a real strong claim that Ngannou is the best heavyweight. The only other guy that could contest it at that point would be John Jones, and the guy has to get out of his UFC contract. We need to see Ngannou versus John Jones. That is a massive fight. I feel like it could headline another Netflix MVP card. Like, at this point, there's no point in keeping John Jones hostage with this crazy contract. Like, the UFC loves to throw out 8-fight contracts because chances are the fighters aren't gonna fully fight out their contracts. Like, Pereira, he just got one, but at this point in his career, is he really gonna have 8 more fights? I don't know. It's It's crazy how they do this, but they do it to just keep you there. So you have to fight your contract out, or you have to wait X amount of years. And Ngannou was able to fight his contract out, and John Jones still has 6 fights on his contract, and he's definitely not fighting those. So if I'm Dana White, just let him go, to be honest. Like, we want to see this fight, but of course, Dana's not going to let it happen. And unfortunately, this might be a fight that we may never see, but I'm not giving up hope. I feel like we could still see this someday, but yeah, great fight and great performance by Francis Ngannou. And then we had Saladin Parnasse versus Kenneth Cross, and early on, these guys were like having some crazy back and forth scrambles. It was very exciting, but you can tell that Saladin Parnasse had a bit of an advantage. He was like ending up on top a little bit more often than Kenneth Cross, and eventually, like, he was able to work. Well, they were both able to separate, and it was the boxing with Parnasse. Like, he was landing some good body shots that floored Kenneth Cross, and then he was able to follow up with some good ground and pound. And this is great for Parnasse to make his US debut like that, perform like that on Netflix. I think that if he does try to re-sign to the UFC, they cannot try to lowball him. Like, this guy is a real deal. Like, he can really be a top guy in the UFC and in that lightweight division right now. Like, you got Max Holloway and Conor McGregor coming back. You have Oliveira that's still there. Then you have Topuria. You have Rufi. Like, I feel like this guy would fit in really well in this lightweight division. He can grapple. He can strike. And boy, can he strike. Like, he can put some of these guys to sleep. And I hope he gets back into negotiations with the UFC. And hopefully these greedy MFers don't try to give him a 12-12 BS contract. Hopefully they give him a 6-figure deal. Like Israel Adesanya was able to get that. I feel like they should invest that money into these stars and established names, because they are going to get a return on their investments. But then we had Junior Dos Santos getting knocked out by Rubeles of Spain, and this was tough to watch. Like, Junior Dos Santos is a legend, and he's a solid fighter, but yeah, the Spain was able to clip him and put him to sleep. Like, he was like standing in front of him. Like, early on, they were exchanging leg kicks, and Junior was like looking kind of good. Like, he was defending some of the shots, and he was taking some of the shots as well, but he couldn't get a takedown. And that's why I picked Junior to win this, because I thought he would be able to get the fight down to the ground. But that was a major misinterpretation on my part. And yeah, the Spain was able to lay him out with some powerful shots, and then he called out Ngannou, and I feel like that would be a pretty solid fight. In the meantime, to keep Francis Ngannou busy, this was his first fight in a while, but I still think that Francis can beat the Spain. Like, Francis is on a different level, and again, Francis might be the best heavyweight in MMA still, so I think he would find a way to beat the Spain. But that would be a pretty fun fight that could be on another Netflix card. But overall, this was a solid card. It was like a good opening, like a lot of one-sided fights again, but that's what you got to do to start the show, like to start the promotion. You want to bring people on board, give them exciting fights by having potential one-sided fights, but at least it's guaranteed to have finishes, and that's what this card had. And yeah, very, very entertaining night of fights from both the UFC and MVP on Netflix. But let me know your thoughts down below. What did you think of this Netflix card? Before that being said, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. God bless, and I will see you in the next one.